Welcome back here to Court Vision as we're stringing along the NBA season. This is episode 9 of Court Vision. I'm Luke Backman here with my co-host Vincent Zakian. Of course, you can subscribe to Vincent on YouTube as well at Vincent Zakian. You can subscribe here at Backman Sports for all your Court Vision talk. Vincent, a little bit of a break between our last episode where we talked about buying and selling stocks, who's impressed us. What have you taken away from the NBA? We have some topics we'll definitely hit, but just overall, what have you seen from the NBA this last week and a half, 2 weeks?
The Cup's gotten really interesting. I think it'll tell us a lot about like the teams that are left. I think because it's a really competitive environment. Giannis obviously is probably going to be the biggest domino for like up until the trade deadline. That's going to be talked about. That there's going to be speculation about it. Apparently, that's been going on since before the season that we didn't even like know about. And I'm keeping a close eye on the Pelicans right now, but we'll talk about them later. I think.
Yeah, we'll talk about all of it and more. Let's jump right into it. We're a little late on the story, but this did break last week and a half ago, and you just mentioned it. Giannis, obviously, I don't know if he's officially formally asked for a trade, but it looks like everything except saying I want a trade has happened.
Yeah.
Him and his agent looking at different spots, like already looking at their future. I think it's very convenient. Unfortunate, but convenient. Giannis has an injury and is out for 2 weeks when this is happening. Injured players don't have to talk to media, so he's avoiding that as of right now. First, just right off the bat, Vincent, when this whole news broke, I think it was a Shams tweet just saying Giannis and his people are looking with the Bucks at what the future holds, and it's probably not in Milwaukee. What was your initial reaction to that? And we'll talk about more in the teams and potential outcome, what we could see.
Yeah, I wasn't shocked. The NBA is kind of rare in that where there's smoke, there really is fire. Like when it comes to players wanting out or like looking for a trade. Usually, if you can spot a guy who's in a situation that he shouldn't be in, like Giannis being on a team that's now 10-15, that guy's probably going to ask for a trade. You know, in the NFL and the MLB, guys will kind of stay put and ride it out, and that's maybe a contract thing, something else, or maybe it's an attitude thing. But Giannis was the clear outlier going into this season. The Bucks have been so disappointing. He's had some injuries in the playoffs, and the roster that made them a contender and then an eventual champion has completely fallen apart. Dame Lillard trade part of that, no doubt, and this was kind of inevitable, but now we kind of have it in writing or in reporting, and now we're just kind of looking for suitors. They might have waited a little too long on this one, the Bucks, to get like good value for him, because now he's injured, and whoever's going to be trading for him is going to have to catch him up to speed mid-season. It's really something you want to do, even in, like how the Knicks got Cat, like that was right before the season. I'd still rather have that than have to bring Giannis in midway through the season and get him acclimated to my team. But not surprising at all.
Yeah, no, it seems like the writing had been on the wall. The Dame Lillard trade, and then your big free agent acquisition to try and keep Giannis is Miles Turner.
Yeah.
We've had our talks about Miles Turner plenty on this podcast.
Yeah.
Simply put, that's not going to do it. Ryan Rollins has been incredible. You mentioned him in our last episode, but again, that's not going to keep Giannis Antetokounmpo in Milwaukee. Looking at it, it seems like New York's the number one spot. That's where Giannis wants to be. New York. One, do you think that's something for you, Vincent, the Knicks should do? And two, are there any other teams that you think could maybe enter this Giannis sweepstakes and get in to get Giannis?
Yeah, I want to hear you talk about the Knicks part of it, but I'll say I think the Spurs are the most interesting one, far and away, for me. The idea, look, I don't even know if the Spurs should do it, right? Because, like, why would you want to break up? I mean, the way Harper's looked the past couple of weeks since, like, starting has been really good. Castle's incredible. And, Wemby's been out, but the Spurs have been treading water without him, which kind of shows where they're at right now, talent and coaching-wise. So, I would like to see it. You'd have to ship out Fox and some other stuff to make the contracts match. And Fox has also been really good lately, too. But the idea of seeing two of the craziest freak athletes in the history of the league playing together in one front court is delicious. So, pause. But
Wow, that was
but that would be an interesting one. I think the Heat will be in play. I could see like the Raptors being in play for this just because their roster's like it's like rock solid right now, but it needs a star, and Giannis could really take that team to new heights. And and they have a lot of contracts they could ship out because they're actually paying a lot of guys. Let's talk about the Knicks though, Luke. You're a Knicks fan. Tell me, like, do you want it to happen? What would the price be like? Does it make sense for both teams? Just go on that.
Yeah, so do I want it to happen? I'm a little torn because I love this Knicks roster, and they're starting to get into form. The Knicks are starting to play how the Knicks. This is how I'm expecting. They're second in the East right now, only 2 games back of Detroit. The offense is playing extremely well. The defense has risen. I like these guys. Josh Hart has found his role on the team. For a package, first pause for Giannis. I think it would be Cat, one of either Mikal Bridges or OG Anunoby, maybe Josh Hart, and maybe Deuce McBride, or maybe one of the two of those, and obviously some picks. I love this team. I love this team. But then again, when you have a top 5 guy available, you might have to go get him. The thing is, he wants to be in New York. So for the Knicks, and I've seen reporting that the Knicks had an exclusive period, like about 2 weeks, talking with the Bucks this summer, that they could have pulled the trigger on the deal. I think you wait. I know, when you only have very short windows for the Knicks. I think you wait right now. I think it's too early with this group, with Mike Brown. I think the offense is being implemented how it's supposed to do. You're the favorite in the East. I know Detroit's up in the number 1 seed. You are the favorite. When you play how they're playing these last 10 games, you're the favorite in the East. Okay, and then you got to find a way to beat the Thunder. There you go. And maybe Giannis is the key, but right now, as a Knicks fan, man, I don't think you drain everything and get rid of everything just for Giannis at this moment, because I do think you have a team that can contend and potentially win a title, and Cat hasn't even been Cat yet. Like, Cat's still acclimating to everything. I don't know. I want to see him hold off right now, but then again, I was the same guy that I wasn't in love with the Cat for Julius Randle trade, and then they get 2 games from the finals last year. So as of right now, I'm okay if they don't for this season, because Giannis isn't a free agent after this season. This isn't the season. So, like, you don't have to go, oh, we got to get him and then sign him. No, he could get traded to a team like the Spurs or Toronto, or I've seen people say maybe Atlanta if they want to try and do something. Okay, maybe he still wants to be in New York after that. So I don't think you have to be forced into, hey, you got to trade for him. Similar to how Bridges, a year and a half ago, whatever, 2 years ago now, said, I only want to be a Knick. And it was like the Knicks are like, oh, okay, we got to do this. But even though they could have waited a season to sign him, they're like, okay, let's give them 4 or 5 first-round picks. So as of right now, I don't think the Knicks should bite the bait to go and get Giannis and, throw everything to the side.
I was thinking about it. I think what the Knicks have right now is good enough to win the East, but is it good enough to win the finals? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Is it good enough to beat? The Thunder are just a level above everybody else right now. And maybe it's not even worth it. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's still. Maybe the Thunder are so good this year that adding Giannis wouldn't even get you over the hump like that. So I kind of get it. I would love to see it though. I mean Giannis at the Garden with Brunson would be so much fun.
The 2-man game between Brunson and Giannis, that was crazy. But the pick and roll between Brunson and Giannis, that would be incredible. I mean, and I saw something you never know what reports are legit true. Like someone was like, oh, Giannis loves the Garden crowd because it reminds him of Europe and teams across overseas and all. Okay, that's true, but we don't know what's legit. I would love to see it, but as of right now, I like this team how it is. I think it is interesting the Knicks did not sign Cat to an extension when they could have. So that would be something after the season, or they're saying, hey, maybe we go for Giannis. And I think if I remember correctly, I don't think Mikal Bridges can be traded, or maybe this was last year, but sometime there's some clause in his contract, or because he got traded something it's February, then he can get traded. So I think if the Knicks were to trade for Giannis, it wouldn't be any time in 2025, and would be a month and a half into 2026. I don't know. We'll have to see. It would be interesting to see him with Mike Brown's offense and Jalen Brunson and everybody. You mentioned the Spurs for Giannis. That would be fun if they wanted to pull the trigger. Yeah. I will say, I remember when these Giannis rumors started, because this has always been bubbling for years now. Okay, who's the next big star that could leave? Giannis in a small market in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
his name was always brought up. And because of the amount of capital they have, I always remember people saying the Oklahoma City Thunder as a team.
Yeah.
And they definitely have the capital, but they also have a team right now that's only lost one game this entire season. And of course, they're not going to mess any of that up. And they have their future, youngest team, everything. We're like, would you imagine a world where they just said, you know what, we'll just go get Giannis because we can?
No, that would be
It's
insane. I mean, I can't believe what they're doing. They're just destroying everybody right now. Giannis, he would make them better, but why? I mean, what would you have to trade? And but the thing is, like, they have the assets to trade. They have better assets to trade than everybody else in the league. So they could do it. But I think they're looking at, like, hey, for the next decade, we're going to be contending for a championship every year. And if we trade assets and bring in Giannis, maybe that guarantees us like a couple championships in like a short window. But does it make us any better? We're the defending champs. Like, we don't need to take a swing like that. Again, it would be kind of cool to see Giannis like be at the head of a dynasty like that. But you'd have literally two of the top 3 players in the league on the same team. So,
and 100%. I'm not saying the Thunder will even sniff, the Milwaukee and like even think about it. I think the Thunder are so far along. Like I don't think, maybe they did, but winning a title last year, that eliminated them from Giannis stock. Say they don't win the title last year, and they're not as dominant to start the season this year. Maybe they're like, okay, the Thunder have the best potential assets and could get them. But now you win the title, you have your core and everything. No, of course you're not going to mess with that. Any last talk on Giannis? I mean, you mentioned Spurs, you mentioned Toronto. Like, do you think he gets traded this season?
It's so hard to say. I think, yeah. I think he will get traded this season. I just think the sooner, I think the Bucks are just going to become increasingly aware that they have to do this soon. Like, Giannis's mind is made up and they need to maximize his value. And hey, every day he gets older, So I think it's got to happen this season. I would kill to see him on Minnesota. Like, I would sacrifice life and limb just to see him. I think Minnesota would have to trade so much. I don't even know how you'd make the salaries match. You'd have to trade Gobert, like, for sure, or Randall. But him and Anthony Edwards together would be like the greatest thing ever.
There's a lot of pairings with Giannis that I think teams are contemplating right now. What's his like for the next? Do you like JB, Jalen Brunson and Cat, or do you like Giannis and Cat? I mean, not Giannis and Cat. That's that's not happening. Jalen Brunson and Cat. Jalen Brunson and Giannis. Okay, now I'll get it right. But it is a decision people are going to have to make. Fast forwarding, kind of talking a little way from Giannis, and we talked about the Thunder. Thunder are in the NBA Cup. Semifinals are going to happen this weekend. OKC versus San Antonio. San Antonio beat the Lakers last night. And the Thunder killed, who did they kill by 49?
Suns.
Yeah. Killed the Suns by 49. Then it's Orlando and the Knicks. First, I know you want to touch on the Thunder. Just talk about the Thunder. They've lost one game this season. I think they just matched the Warriors when they went 73-9 so far in this point of the season.
Yeah, I read the stat. I was reading Michael Pina's article on The Ringer, and it's a very complex stat that I had to like paraphrase for myself when I wrote it down, but here it is. It's hilarious. The Thunder are allowing 11.5 points per game lower than league average right now. This is a defensive stat. 11.5 points lower than league average. More than any team since that stat has been tracked, right? 11.5 points below league average. Number 2 on that list is the San Antonio Spurs, who have the same distance between them and the Thunder on that list as 36th on that list. So, essentially, the Thunder, as far as points allowed below league average, are like here, and the second team all time is the Spurs, who are here with everybody else. That's how good their defense is right now. It's like, and look, I mean, we still have an entire season to play out, but the same distance between second and 36 as second and first on an all-time points below league average stat. Incredible. That's how good their defense is.
Wow. And not to mention, they have a top 2, maybe top 1 score in the NBA, with Jay. Like, this team is so perfectly built. I think I just saw the OKC front office one, like a anonymous survey, but they were voted number 1 best front office. Like, no duh. Like, Sam Presti has cleaned up on everybody in and around the league. this team is so perfectly built. A reminder, they did this without Jalen Williams, J-Dub, for a long stretch of the season to start the year. Can anyone stop the Thunder? I mean, it's that simple. Can anybody stop the Thunder?
Where do we think? I mean, okay, what will it take for this team to be considered like the '95 Bulls or the '16 Warriors or the '17 and '18 Warriors with KD?
Like, are you saying like talking like regular season pace or like all time?
All time.
See, all time. I think we got to get like, at least for me, I'd wait till the season ends. Like, I want to see how they do in the playoffs because everyone said, remember the 73-9 Warriors, you get the record but you don't get the ring. So people are still like, oh, okay,
Right.
that Bulls team still got the ring in '96. So it's an unfair thing to say, hey, you got to win the. Well, it's not unfair to be compared to the greats. Yeah, you got to get to the ring. Warriors got to Game 7 of that finals. But I think if you're thinking record, if they enter All-Star break with 4 or 5 losses, like this is clearly one of the greatest regular season teams of all time.
Yeah, I think they want to do it too. I was just comparing them to the Warriors. The Warriors with like KD is the best team ever, pretty comfortably the best team ever assembled, I think. And their playing style was awesome. And that's I think where this team suffers a little bit because their offense is really good but not incredibly exciting. And I don't know, people can get mad. I kind of get mad sometimes about how like aggressive they are on defense and how they get away with stuff. But they're just on an all-time pace. And maybe they'll need a better playing style to be considered like one of those great teams. But as much as I picked the Nuggets to win the title this year, and I feel like, and this Nuggets team is excellent this year, and the Lakers have been amazing to start this year, and the Rockets have been really good, and the Spurs are exciting, and I feel like none of them have a shot against.
I look at the Knicks, and I obviously as a Knicks fan, like when I was talking about, hey, you got to get past the East, and then you got to beat the Thunder. Like, to beat the Thunder is like I don't even want to think about that right now. Like that's on a whole nother planet than beating the East. Like, and props to Detroit, props to everybody in the East playing well, but it's like you get through that gauntlet of the East, and then you have to play a team that's superior to everybody in the league times 10 right now. And then obviously this is way down the line in June, but it's the Thunder. They're just incredible, and no one can seem to stop them. I will have to say, I do think the Thunder, so far in their run for at least this year and last year as well, and maybe I'm speaking a little out of turn because they did have to wait a year after Chet got injured, but they've been lucky so far. There hasn't been any serious injury. J-Dub missed the start of the season, but they can live with that, right? They weathered the storm. Then he's back for a stretch run, which they hope. Other than Chet injuring before he stepped on an NBA court and missing a year, him, Shea, J-Dub, excluding this really extent. Like, they haven't had any major injuries, and their rotation guys seemingly always are around and available and playing well. It's just a well-run locomotive, and, that's something unfortunate. It's not, something they can control. But, you wonder whether or not, hey, is the injury bug ever going to catch up to them? Or do they just do everything so well, nothing matters right now, and they're just dominating on the court?
Yeah. I mean, you said they weathered the storm without J-Dub. It wasn't like when most teams get an injury to a second-best player, there's at least a dip in performance. Instead, they're off to like the best start in the history of the league. So, I mean, I don't even know how badly they missed him. I think they'd miss him like come playoff time. It would matter like for sure. There would be matchups you could exploit. But yeah, they're insane. But yeah, the Spurs. I don't think Wemby's going to be back for this semifinals. Is he?
Not that I've seen. I don't think so.
Yeah. I was impressed by the Spurs against the Lakers. They played with a lot of pace, and they really showed their depth. Like they've really like kind of built a strong roster here, and because of that, they were able to like play with pace and kind of expose the Lakers' lack of depth because they're kind of filled with veterans right now. And yeah, they blew them out.
You saw that LeBron poster though. That's all I'll say. Only highlight really.
Whew.
Hey, man.
Crazy, man. Year 20 what? 23?
I think so. Crazy. But yeah. Yeah, and
Incredible.
last question about the Thunder real quick. I mean, we'll preview or talk a little about the NBA Cup.
Yeah.
Do you think because obviously we saw them in close games last year, especially in the playoffs. In playoff time, everything's different. You know, you're hunkered in for potentially 7 games. You know, everything's dialed. Like, do you think it's just they're so much better than teams, or do you think it's a mix of that and, hey, the regular season, it's one game, a team moves, plays the game and moves on? Like, we don't expect this dominance in the come playoff time, right? Just like mowing through everybody, or do you at this point?
The West is so deep, and I just think someone's gonna hit them with a pretty hard punch in the conference semis or the conference finals or something like that. Like I think they will absolutely be tested, and the depth of this West will test you as a team. But it's the fact that like even the best teams in the league, they get caught once in a while, and these guys just don't get caught.
Yeah,
it's pretty ridiculous.
Unbelievable. Okay, let's transition to the Cup. Obviously, we talked about Spurs. Excuse me. I assume you have Thunder getting to the finals of the Cup.
Yeah.
Do you have Thunder winning the Cup?
You know, anything can happen in one game. That's what's cool about the Cup. Like, in like the NFL playoffs and stuff, like there's a lot more upsets because it's just one game and it's 60 minutes, and anything can really happen over the course of one game, and that's why like 7-game series usually you just get a deserved winner. Like there's never like a highway robbery. It's the best team over a largish sample size. So I think I don't think the Spurs can do it without Wemby, but I think if the Magic have been a lot better lately, and the Knicks are and so have the Knicks. So I think, and they're both pretty healthy right now. So I think it can happen for either team. It's a grudge match for the Magic and Knicks, Luke. I'm sure you saw Desmond Bane firing that ball off of OG Anunoby the other day. Second time this season he's done it, by the way. He did it against Houston, too. Just spiked the ball on somebody.
Desmond Bane, he's entered hater watch.
Hater watch Desmond Bane.
You know what? I'm sick of him. I'm sick of Desmond Bane.
I'm going to write that down.
And then the next game, he's clapping in Miami players' face as they advance to like, all right, like it seems like he's trying to bring over some of the toughness that Memphis had when he was there.
Yeah.
And you know what? Granted, maybe that's what that locker room needs, and maybe he's the guy to bring it.
Yeah.
But right now, as a Knicks fan that's going to have to face Orlando in the Cup and maybe also in the playoffs. And we've seen Orlando like 3 or 4 times already. Like they've scheduled Orlando so well. I think this will be our 4th time playing Orlando this season. It's incredible. Yeah. Like he's the pest. He's a heck of a ball player too. But right now he's on hater watch. I'm sick of Desmond Bane. Shout out, he went to TCU though. Shout out to TCU. But no, I'm not a Desmond Bane guy right now.
He's been really good. He's really like started figuring things out with like Paolo out of the lineup. Mm-hmm. It's actually been really good for his game, and he's figuring out like where he fits in. Why does he keep spiking the ball off? Like I understand bringing an edge, like hard fouls and stuff. There's a difference between like a hard foul, like hey, you're not getting this bucket on me, no matter what, and then after the play spiking the ball off of it, like that's just disrespectful.
I know. I saw people that are like, "Oh, he was falling out of bounds." I'm like, "Are we watching the same video?"
He fired it at him.
2 feet planted inbounds, took a step forward, and fired at OG Anunoby. And I guess he thought OG.
And he did it earlier this year. We talked about it on an earlier podcast. He's got a reputation for it.
It doesn't make sense, and like, I guess he thought OG fouled. So like, I don't understand what he was thinking. He got fined $35,000 for it.
Yeah.
But I'll say this as a Knicks fan. Both OG and I'm not going as far as Boogie Cousins is saying punch him, but out of like more than just the weak shove that OG gave, or some of the teammates to come in and start something up, because we're going to see Orlando plenty.
Yeah.
Just firing the ball, like let's get something going, in the garden. Let's get active a little bit for the Knicks. I kind of wanted to see a little more.
This is why. Well, first of all, I'm totally looking forward to this as a potential playoff series. Like that could be epic. This is what you have Josh Hart on the team for, Luke. Just sick the dogs on him, man. Like Cat's not gonna do it. Cat tapped out. We all remember when Cat tapped out when Ben Simmons choked him out. Brunson's not gonna do it because he's the money. This is why you have Josh Hart. Step up.
Well, Josh Hart, I wasn't watching the game in live time. Josh Hart actually might have been out of the game because he was on the bench with his child in his lap
Yeah, that's right.
And then like
What's
the game
going
got
on?
close, and he had to go back in the game, and he just hands his child to Mitchell Robinson,
To
who's
Mitchell
sitting on the
Robinson,
bench.
yeah.
Like, what in the world?
Uncle Mitch.
So Josh Hart might have been, telling his kid, look over there. There's, a celebrity, and didn't know anything. Who was, what was happening on the other end of the floor. What about the NBA Cup? Like, has the NBA Cup fully got you invested?
Yeah, I like the NBA. I like the cup a lot.
Okay.
But it builds on this, or it copies this idea that soccer has. Soccer has a simultaneous like leagues. The English Premier League. I'm wearing a Manchester United jersey today. They have a simultaneous with their league season. They have a simultaneous League Cup and FA Cup. They call it the FA Cup. Used to be the most prestigious trophy in England. Like, it was more important because like every single division. They have all these divisions. They go like 9 leagues down. Every single division could play for the FA Cup in England. And so it used to be back in like the 60s and 70s more prestigious. Then the Premier League got a big TV deal in the 90s, and now the Premier League's the big deal. But point is, I think perceptions are going to change about the NBA Cup. I think first of all, it's kind of big for LeBron's legacy that he won the first one. Because I just think in 20 years it's going to mean more because it'll have been around for a while. And then it's going to be like, oh yeah, LeBron's got that on his resume. You know what I mean? And the Bucks won it last year. Giannis has that on his resume. So I think it doesn't feel like the biggest deal right now. But I think when we talk about sports, sports have been replaced by AI in 20 years. I think it's going to be a big deal. And I love seeing the competitiveness of it. And it's one single game elimination, which you don't get in the NBA. And it's interesting what that brings out in teams, I think. So I'm a fan of the Cup.
All right.
And I think the Thunder will probably win it, but because it's single elimination, it could totally beat the Knicks or the Magic.
I'm gonna give you 2 quick rants that I figured
Please.
out where I came about when I was watching the Knicks beat the Raptors to go to the semifinals. First, this is about the Cup. As a fan, I am not totally invested in it like you are right now, and maybe now they're in Vegas, I will be. But in the quarterfinal game, I was like, it's another game against Toronto. I really didn't think too much of it. I'll say this. I know the NBA wants everybody to be, this is the biggest thing in the world, banners, all these different things, whatever. When I hear the announcers, I forget the announcers doing the game, say, this is the biggest game for the Raptors since their 2021 play-in game. And then as the Knicks win, they say, the Knicks are going to Vegas for a chance to host up hardware since the first time since the 70s when we won the championship. Yes. I can't buy in there. I'm sorry. I understand I love it all. The games, they turn out to be good. The atmosphere, the two-way guys are getting a big check. No, if the Knicks win the thing as a Knicks fan, okay, cool. They won the NBA Cup and Tyler Kolek got $500,000 or whatever these players. That's what I'm thinking. Not that let's go. We just won a trophy since the first time since '73 or whatever when we won the chip. Like that to me was insane. I'll just I understand the announcers are doing their job to hype it up and everything, but that was a little bit crazy pushing the line. And my second rant. And the game was on Amazon, but this is for everyone, and notoriously ESPN's done this for years.
Yeah.
When you say the game's at 7:30, can we do tip-off?
Tip it at 7:30.
I'm so, even if you want to do 7:33 or 7:35, okay, I can live with that.
Yeah.
But when you tip off at 7:47, just tell me you're going to tip off. Like NFL and MLB, they give you, the game starts at, say, 7 o'clock. In the app, it says first pitch 7:07. That they're giving you, that's when first pitch is going to be. I get to games early, and not even when I watch games, I turn it on early. So I got the Knicks game on at 7:20, ready to go, and they're giving me a countdown. 7:30 hits, okay, you got your announcers doing your pregame, whatever. Then let's throw it back to the studio. Why do we have to throw it back to the studio? I don't understand that. Let's get to tip-off, and then another commercial, and then throw it back to studio for one question, and then another commercial, and then tip-off. If you say 7:30, it's got to be within 7:30 and 7:35. These tips. I pause. This is ridiculous. I'm sitting there for 20 minutes when the game should have started. That just irritated me so much. It's like nope. The Amazon crew is fantastic. Taylor Rooks, Blake Griffin, UD, all these guys are incredible. I love to see them. I'll see you guys at halftime and after the game, not when the game's supposed to start at 7:30 and you're talking about nothing. To be
Yep.
honest with you.
I mean, look, we both went to broadcasting school, Luke. We know that these games are vehicles for advertising. But there is something about the NBA that I think people have made a lot of bad faith arguments about, like why the NBA doesn't work or why the NBA's ratings are declining and things like that. I think people have made a lot of bad arguments about that. But they clearly respect the consumer less than like the NFL and the MLB do. When you're doing things like that, like every single Sunday, games kick off at 1 o'clock or 1:05 in the NFL, like to the minute. Or the 4:05 game starts at 4:05, 4:25 starts at 4:25. Sunday Night Football starts at 8:20. It's definitely one of the reasons why people like people are so loyal to the like MLB fans are loyal MLB fans. NFL fans, it's the entire country because they can get in line with the regimented schedule. It's insane. Like, it is maybe the number one most complained about thing in the NBA is the start times and how they basically just lie about them. They don't even do the coverage begins at whatever thing. Like, they just straight up, it's a random time. Like, it's somewhere in a half-hour window after that 7:30 programming slot. And they do it for the playoffs. Like, it is kind of disrespectful to the consumer. And it's, I mean, we know these things are all about money and whatever, but it's pretty lame. So I totally agree with you.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, like again, I was sitting there for 25 minutes. Like, the game was supposed to start at 7:30. Like, and again, this isn't just Amazon. This is everybody. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who's felt it. You've obviously said, hey, you've seen it too, and it annoys you. It's just, hey, it would not hurt my feelings if you tell me, hey, we're scheduled for 7:30, more likely 7:45. That's all you got to do, NBA. It's what it is. Crazy. You were talking about the Pelicans before. Talk to me a little about what you're seeing with the Pelicans, because they're in a very interesting.
The Pelicans are fascinating. So they gave, in order to trade up in the 2025 NBA draft, they fell in love with Derek Queen from Maryland, who has been excellent to start the season. Like, genuinely one of the best rookies. There is, like, special, like, passing ability and scoring down low and vision and that kind of thing. He just dropped a 30-point triple-double on the Spurs a couple nights ago. Like, maybe one of the best rookies in the league this year. They fell in love with Derek Queen, traded up in the draft to get him, and traded away a, I guess, unprotected first-round pick the next year. Problem is the Pelicans knew they were going to be terrible this year. Like, and they are. They're the worst team by record, the worst team in the league right now. I think they're 3-22. And they didn't protect that pick, meaning when they inevitably get a top 5 pick, it's going to go to the Hawks. And I mean, this upcoming NBA draft is supposed to be like obviously we've got the kid from BYU, AJ DeBonsta, who is probably going to be the number 1 pick. Looks like an absolute monster. It's an incredibly deep draft behind him, right? Like, there's dudes everywhere. So that 5th pick could be like better than a number 1 pick 2 years ago or this year, right? So they're in this fascinating position where they need Queen to be so good that he's worth whatever they would have drafted if they hadn't drafted Queen, and like whoever the 3rd pick, whoever the lottery decides the Atlanta Hawks get to pick. So despite the fact that they got an awesome player, and you can look at the results, and I'm sure that's how Pelicans fans will feel because he's like their guy now, the process is still terrible. It's still an insanely bad decision when you're rebuilding and you need multiple stars on your team. So I'm just going to be watching them all season and be fascinated. I'll probably be tuning in because Derek Queen's really good and he's been really interesting to watch. Very unique kind of game to him. Really smart player. But like, if you're the Atlanta Hawks right now, you can't believe how good you got it. You cannot believe how good you got, because Jalen Johnson's an all-star, right? And Dyson Daniels was most improved last year, and Risa Shea is a good player. And you could probably trade Trae Young. You might not even have to, but you could probably trade Trae Young and get a ton for him and have the number 1 pick this year in an insane draft, or a top 3 pick in an insane draft. So going forward, the Hawks are probably going to be awesome. I would imagine. They're going to be awesome for a while.
And that's why I threw them in for the Giannis conversation because they have assets too. They have
Yes.
if the Bucks are looking for a top pick, obviously they'll be that or whatever. Atlanta's
Yeah.
right there because they have that pick. And the GM for New Orleans, Joe Dumars, I don't know what in the world he was thinking. I think people asked him after it happened and after the draft last year, like, okay, cool.
It
you
was
got
bad
Derek
in the
Queen.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah, you got Derek Queen, like, cool, but you gave up your first round last year when you're going to be bad. He was like, we
Yeah.
got our guy, or something similar to that.
Yeah.
It's like, were you just not thinking ahead? Like, it blows my mind. The Hawks are sitting there pretty. The Hawks are sitting pretty. They're to a degree, they're kind of like OKC. OKC has all these picks and just watching the Clippers melt down and say, all right, bring me to the lottery. I mean, they have so much treasure, they don't know what to do with it. And the Hawks, they're developing players. You mentioned a few of their guys that look very, very good. I mean, I don't know. The Hawks are in such a great position, and the Pelicans
Yeah.
are like, I. Everybody knew not to do that deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like you knew you were going to be bad this year. Why?
You never see it.
I don't know. It blows my mind. I will have to say I mentioned it last time. Derek Queen. People are trying to push on him, Big Nasty, as a nickname. I told you I had something to do with Nasty.
That's kind of old
It's
school.
Big Nasty.
That's
I don't,
Ryan Howard used to play for the Phillies. He was one of my favorite players growing up. He's called the Big Piece.
okay.
What was Frank Thomas's nickname? Like that's like an old school first baseman nickname who can hit like 50 home runs.
That's a good yeah.
Damn, what was Frank Thomas's?
um
Randy Johnson was the big unit. Hold on, I'm gonna find Frank Thomas's nickname. It's hilarious. Good God.
the Big Hurt.
That's it.
The
Big
Big
Hurt.
Hurt.
Shout out to Auburn.
They were talking to another nickname they floated out for him was Big Blizzard because DQ Derek
Quinn.
Blizzard.
I like that.
I thought
That's pretty good.
That
We
was
gotta
pretty
bring
good.
nicknames back, man. I mean, that's why I'm so obsessed with Dyson Daniels' is the Great Barrier Thief nickname. It's like there aren't good nicknames in sports anymore. We used them all up in like the '80s when everyone was doing cocaine. Like I think that's
I
it.
miss they did it one game to start 2014. And that was the nicknames on the
Yep.
back of the jerseys. Why did that
I don't
not
know.
stick? Like why did that should have stuck around for another year? Like let's bring it back for
Yeah.
one game.
I've been on this.
So let's do it.
I've been on this forever
Yeah, like-
because the NFL used to have all these incredible nicknames. Like I'm a big like NFL history like nerd. Like Walter Payton was like Sweetness and William Perry was the Refrigerator. Joe Montana, Joe Cool. Like there were all these cool nicknames back then, and I think it's because everything's kind of a reference now on social media that it's not cool to like make references like that anymore or to give nicknames. So it kind of when Odell Beckham got good, it's people just started doing initials. Like it was just everyone's like just the next OBJ,
Oh yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo, CR7. Like no one cares about that. Like that's just numbers and initials. I think like the Greek Freak's the last good one. The Greek Freak was such a good nickname that like people
Oh, yeah.
didn't know Giannis's name for like the first his first 4 years in the league before he won Most Improved. That's so good.
Yeah, no, like the initial.
Like Ant-Man is a weak name, even though I love Anthony Edwards and he should have a nickname. Ant-Man is not. It's just his name, and there's nothing ant-like about him. He doesn't like shrink. I don't
Yeah,
know,
and
like,
a lot of like Donovan Mitchell as Spider is pretty good.
that's like self-given though.
Was that? I
You know
forget
what I
the
mean?
order.
Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I honestly don't know. Maybe it's not. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's alright.
No, that's okay. We need to bring nicknames back. Nicknames.
The glove is like the greatest
Glove is
nickname ever.
incredible.
The glove. Oh my god.
Glove is incredible. And who would have thought LeBron would have been king early in his career? Like that nickname, or was that like?
You know what I mean? Like
I mean, like it's LeBron.
he's the greatest prospect of all time. Of course, he's gonna be the king.
But the
like,
king, the king, that's a lot. Like king's like pretty.
it's good.
That's
It's
good.
good.
Whatever Nike, I'm sure, person thought of that.
Yeah.
That's- all right, let's touch on Chris Paul a little bit because we talked about it when the news happened last episode. A little more
Yeah.
information has come out about it.
They sent him home. Yeah.
Yeah, they sent him home. Ty Lue apparently didn't like him. Some of the players said, "Yeah, we're okay with Chris Paul being sent home." What's your reaction after all this has come out? Still, like really screwy move from the Clippers. I think. I mean, even if people didn't like the guy, tell him at 3 a.m. in the morning or whatever time it was, hey, you're going home in your final season. You're done. You're waived. You're cut. Like, I still look at the Clippers pretty bad for that one.
Yeah, the hallmark of like great franchises in all of sports is how they treat like their alumni and how they treat their like great players. You know what I mean? A lot of guys will like go back to their team on a 1-day contract to retire. Philip Rivers did that before he decided to come back to the NFL. You see it all the time. The Clippers are like burning a bridge with the best player in the history of their franchise. So I think that's pretty nasty. I did see 19-year-old Clippers fan and former ball boy Jimmy Reynolds. Did you see this? Denounced his fandom.
So.
Denounced his fandom after they sent CB3 home. And Blake Griffin commented.
Yep.
He was like, "Rest easy, King," or something like that. You know what I mean? Blake Griffin's just the man. CB3 was like on FaceTime with Blake and DeAndre Jordan after they cut him loose, and I think it's clear they all know. Like they are like the peak of the Clippers franchise, but they all know it is a clown show with no respect for history. Mm-hmm. They don't really and. Like, they don't have a lot of history because they haven't been around for an insanely long amount of time, but they have been good for an insanely long amount of time. It's important. Ballmer has to realize, as the franchise governor, those are like your historical days, and you have to hold those guys in high regard if you want people to come to your franchise.
Yeah, you look at the crosstown rivals, the Lakers. I mean, you think about the Lakers. I'd say 75% of the time you don't even think about the players on the team right now, obviously LeBron and Luka, but you think about their legends and you think about all these guys. That's not just because they were great players, throughout. They obviously did their thing, but like, it's just like, hey, Kobe Bryant, you think of Lakers. Lakers, you think of Kobe Bryant. You think of Shaq. You think of Kareem. Like all these guys, the Clippers don't have any of that. Chris Paul would have been their guy. You think of Chris Paul, you think about Lob City Clippers. Excuse me. Blake Griffin, Lob City Lakers. Lob City Clippers. These LA teams are screwing me up right now. They don't have that right now. Now you think of Chris Paul. Okay, yeah. Point guard went to you're going to think about his Suns days. You're going to think about his Rockets days. You're going to think about some of his Clippers days, Hornets days. But it's like, no, that was your guy. You were going to claim him, and he was going to claim you. And now you just messed it up. So who's your guy? Kawhi's not going to claim you. Kawhi won 2 titles elsewhere. Paul George, I don't know if you want to even claim Paul George. He'll probably try and claim the Clippers. Clippers will be like, nah, I think we're good, Paul.
Yep.
You don't have that guy to say, you know what, yeah, he's the Clippers. Like, to a degree, it's kind of Steve Ballmer. Like, when you think of Clippers. Like, that's their guy. Yeah. Their history. You just haven't had that.
And Donald Sterling.
There you go. Like,
he's their guy.
Unbelievable. You just don't have, and then you get the picture of the FaceTime with Blake and DeAndre Jordan, Chris Paul. Like, for us, you think about Clippers, you think about Lob City, early 2010s.
Oh yeah.
Now those guys are like, we don't.
They're clowning you.
Yeah,
they're clowning you. And the Lakers, the whole foundation of the Lakers under the Buss family has been: if you are a star for the Lakers and you win them titles or you bring them success, you will retire a Laker.
Yep.
Like, they could have cut Kobe loose.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Kobe was awful for a while at the end of his career. They could have cut him loose, but they did right by him.
Yeah.
And the Clippers have done the opposite to essentially their Kobe. It's a weird comparison to make, but it's true.
The Lakers brought back Magic Johnson when he had HIV. They loved their legend so much.
After he got the news. Yeah.
They treat their people like the Knicks. Again, as a Knicks fan, you see Knicks alumni sitting at Knicks playoff games and regular season games all the time. And there's once a Knick, always a Knick.
What happened to Charles Oakley? I'm just saying.
That was a bad period in Knick, history.
That was
bad. But now
bad. Same ownership.
Nowadays, you see Melo, you see Marbury, you see Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing, I think, is employed by the club.
Yeah.
But you see all of these guys from playoff time, and then of course with the celebrities courtside. But it's like they know how to treat their guys, and every team is going to have one, at least just one. That's their guy, and it was supposed to be Chris Paul with the Clippers. It's not going to be anymore. Maybe they can mend the relationship down the line, but I don't think anytime soon. What else you got, Vincent?
I listened to the latest episode of Mind the Game, and LeBron said he felt the most complete basketball player in 17-18. Do you agree with that? Do you think that's the best version of LeBron?
100%. 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Because I think
Yeah.
with his days in Miami, he relied jump shot. Was a mid-range. Like then he expanded out to the three-point line when he returned back to
Yeah.
Cleveland, and each year was a progression. Then 2018, I've always said 2018 LeBron's my favorite LeBron of all time. Carrying that team to the finals, ended up getting swept, but had the 51-point game in Game 1, broke his hand punching a locker or clipboard in the locker room. And if you watch the next 3 games, he did not shoot threes like he did previously throughout the playoffs. That's how I knew something was wrong. But, that was just something. But no, 100%. I think 2018, LeBron, not only how he played, how he looked, how he carried that team. Yeah, I agree with him.
Yeah, I think the Miami days are like the most exciting version of LeBron for me because it was his like athletic peak, and LeBron's athletic peak is like the highest athletic peak in human history. So I think those are like the coolest highlights to watch. But at 17-18, it was the perfect marriage. Like he was still he was still incredibly athletic, but he had totally mastered the game, to the point where he was just carrying bums to the finals, and it might be the highest peak any basketball player has ever hit. So it's pretty cool.
100%.
Michael Porter Jr. quote of the week. Let me pull it up real quick. I can't believe like he keeps just delivering. This one, I mean, we can edit this out possibly, but Michael Porter Jr. answering thought daughter or gay son. The age-old question, ladies and gentlemen, a thought is a promiscuous woman, and a gay son. You know what a gay person is, I'm sure. I can't use the language he uses, but he says both would hurt my heart. That's this week's Michael Porter Jr. quote.
I mean, I'll just say this. I think for generations, people have always looked for the perfect answer to that question.
Such an insulting question.
I think Michael Porter Jr. might have just found it right there. Both would hurt my heart.
Again, not the language he used. I had to paraphrase, but anyway, that's all I got. I think.
I'll just say, if you've never been asked that question, how many times have you heard that question in your life, Vincent?
Hundreds.
Exactly.
Hundreds.
It's out there, and Michael Porter Jr. just might have put a bow on it. That's he won't miss. Michael Porter Jr. will not miss.
He doesn't.
Maybe I'll say that the quotes. I'm not saying I agree with the quotes, and he does.
No.
He delivers on delivering a quote. That's what I'm saying before it gets misconstrued. He always delivers on making a quote.
It's the content.
Yeah, 100%. I can't wait till he starts his Twitch stream career. Because I think he was
inevitable.
Yeah, he was going around, already guesting on people's. He's going to have to make one himself. But as we wrap up, Vincent, all right, so NBA Cup, you're going Thunder. If you had to, you'd go Thunder. I'm going Thunder.
Yeah, I think so.
Nice, yeah. As we wrap up here in December, anything else you're looking for? Any, Giannis trade to, what else are you looking for? I know your Sixers are, kind of.
They're treading water. The other night, last week they finally blew a team out, and Maxey only played 24 minutes, and it was finally. He's been up at anytime the Sixers have to win a game, it's Maxey's playing at least 40. So, Sixers have to drop Maxey's minutes. Clippers have to find a way to string some wins together, or else it's over for all of us. Mm-hmm. Maybe the same thing with the Pelicans, but it doesn't matter. They're just not going to win. And, let's see. Maybe we'll get some Giannis news by the time we record next.
That sounds good. Another episode here of Court Vision. I'm Luke Backman again here with Vincent Zakian. You can subscribe to Vincent on YouTube at Vincent Zakian. And if you want to keep up with Court Vision here, hey, subscribe to Backman Sports. That's all we got for you. Peace until next time.